Indian news ma wakɔ aba assign de ba wɔn kasa fidie so bio. Na maka trust before anything else na just a share na ebiem nso kwa na wo subscribe to your channel no. What's the political news there? Never governance. Be catch you sapani put of ma yet. Na panye to forma yet there. Ani na nsɛm foforɔ bi nso asan esi. Benim sɛ what the nsɛm ade bɛn nyinaa na ya na ya wote na ya wɔhwɛ na ya wɔfɛ nso so. Nti no nsɛm foforɔ bi asi a India news yan so pani yɛ tɔ for me baabi yɛ ti nyinaa akyi no yɛn nsa atumi aka bi na yɛaso nso atumi ate saa nsɛm bi. Yɛntie nsɛm mmra sisi a na mpanimfoɔ mpo sɛ kakum no yɛgye no kɔkɔɔ anum. Deɛ ba before that no subscribe to your channel no. Bɛka all other news ɛfa politics wɔn de deɛ wɔpɛ sɛ wɔtie no ɛho. Etie ba ebe baabi a susu anso pɛ so wɔde bɔde wɔn fa na deɛ asie biara no nso fa comment nso to aseɛ na yɛn kenkan mfama wo deɛ ɛhwɛ de nneɛma ɛkɔ. Yɛntie nsɛm mmra sisi a wotie no fa comment to aseɛ ba deɛ mfa nkyɛmu no nso ɛnto aso. Yɛntie mmra.
Against the Chief Justice will begin hearing today. They will sit 3 times a week and present their recommendation to the president upon completion of their work. Dr. Zato, I'm coming to you because the statement from the presidency tells us how many times they'll be sitting a week. However, what is absent is a timeline for completion of their work. I don't know if this should be a matter of concern or otherwise, because you see the CJ has been suspended and is on suspension. And so how soon the work of the committee is done is important to her reinstatement or otherwise.
Thank you very much. What you've seen happening here with this whole CJ matter is just a matter of ticking boxes. It's all a charade. It's a carefully calculated plan. The CJ is gone. The CJ is not coming back. She's not coming back. It's finished. There is no way. All that is now left is to take the so-called legal boxes. You say that we've done this. She's not coming back. She's gone.
She's not been found guilty of anything.
Again, she's suspended. I'm telling you that she's not coming back. This is a political process masqueraded as a legal process. No, it's a clear political strategy. I said this somewhere. It's the weaponization of the judicial process to get a political outcome. And I've said it again. The target is not, you see, unfortunately, the Chief Justice just caught in the crosshairs. She's actually not the target.
So who is?
She's the EC chair and her deputies. This is just a means to an end. She is just a route today because people are afraid that, well, if we don't remove her, we send a petition to remove the EC chair. She may look at the merits of the petition, and if it's not meritorious, discuss it. Then we cannot do anything again. So there's this debate within the NDC. How do we achieve these political objectives?
You're not part of it. How do you know?
And they are always, I've said, they are always political hawks, and they are doves, and they are the moderates. In this particular debate, I've said it again on some other platforms, the hawks have won. They have managed to convince the president, Mr. President, the only way to get Jane Mensah and her deputies out is through all roads to the EC list through what?
The CJ.
The CJ. Get her out. And that I don't think, deep down, His Excellency President Mahama doesn't want this to be part of his record. Deep down, he doesn't want to be remembered as the first president in this republic who got a Chief Justice out. Deep down, he's being forced to take this and buy the hawks in the party. And it's going to happen. So this is the sharing. My point is that, Mr. President, it will be done. But can you do it in a way that is, for want of a better way, that brings more transparency? For instance, these updates that we are getting, he's not mandated to give us these updates. You know that, right?
Yeah.
The president, by the law, is not mandated to tell us that these updates are happening. But he's doing it. Mr. President, can you go ahead and do that? There are things that you are not mandated to do, but legally they are not wrong. Can you do that? Can we learn? First of all, can you publish the record of the committee that determined the, how do you call it?
The prima facie.
The prima facie. Again, the holdings are in camera. But can we see the report? I don't think there's any law in Ghana that says that don't publish that. I don't see this doing. Because you want to encourage transparency. Your hands are forced, but you want to pretend that you are being transparent. Can you make us see that report?
The Constitution says the hearings must be in camera.
Agree. But the Constitution doesn't say anything about the products of the hearing, does it?
So eventually the products will come out.
No, eventually. But you are keeping us, you want us to follow you on the journey, right? That's why you're giving us, why are you telling us this update?
What he can give is what he's giving.
The Constitution doesn't say don't give out that report. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but did he say that? If he gives out that report, is he breaking the law? I don't think
the lawyers will.
Yes, fine. If they do, fine. But if not, secondly, this committee that is coming up, it's been in camera. Will we see the report? Can the president say that, look, once this committee is there, I'll add on so that, look, Ghanaians can see. And then we can read ourselves, we can say, yes, this is meritorious. We can see it, we can read. The students of law can study it in their classes. Lawyers that are practicing can read it because tomorrow they may be called to defend another guy, another person. My point is that this whole thing is being done in such a way that you just know the outcome. I'm saying it on record here. The Chief Justice is gone. She's gone. If she's go back to her office, probably she's forgot something that she's going to pick. If she go back, but she's not going anywhere. And that is what we've gotten. It's going to be a blot on the record of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama that he is the first president who has done this to this woman at a time that we think that we should go in there because she's a nice person. The Chief Justice is a nice person. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is a nice person. I don't think he wants that the woman or the Chief Justice that swore him into office, her reward is going to be that she's going to fire her from office.
He is bound by the Constitution to act on the petition.
But I've just told you something. Yes, it is. And I told you. He is forced and compelled to do that by the hawks in the party.
By the Constitution.
Yes, I've made a point. First of all, there are things. The Constitution says if you get a petition, send it to the Council of State.
Council of State, yes.
I don't know. Did the Constitution tell us how long you have to people can send it to the Council of State?
No.
So he could have kept it.
Until when?
He decides. That's discretion.
And so he could have forwarded same within the
again, so
discretion.
Thank you. Now we are going to the question of discretion. This one, him. But the other one, but this, Sami Jefi there, nothing to see here, just on
I'm not sure it's on the same scale.
I'm making it on the same scale. You brought it. So the question that he could have decided that he won't forward that report. He could have kept it until he's leaving office to forward it because the Constitution doesn't tell you must do it now. Again, now the committee does set up. The committee doesn't tell you how quick or fast you should set up the committee, does it? You've received, they say prima facie. It says set up a committee. The committee doesn't say set it up now, right?
No.
So you choose, again, discretion there, right? I'm talking about where the president has discretion. The committee has started talking. When the committee comes out with their report, again, the committee doesn't tell you when you should start implementing that report. Again, discretion. They are passive. This impression or this time for you to do this may provide a window of opportunity for you to let us see some light in the process, for you to let us see how transparent you want to be. But it's not going to happen. That is because the end is already determined. The woman is going, and they're going to the political objective of securing this whole thing is going to be achieved.
Right.
I pray and hope that it comes well. I pray and hope that future governments learn from this. Because the question about this is about what we call path dependency. And everybody will parrot it. Charlotte Osei was removed. You remove Charlotte Osei, so this man too is gone. That is as simple as that. That's the argument. Why did you remove Charlotte Osei? Why did you remove the former Shrike boss? What these people have done, the past has been clear. And that it has been done. My point is that Charlotte Osei was not a co-equal arm of the government. The Chief Justice is.
Right.
The former Shrike boss was not a co-equal arm of the government. The current Chief of Staff, the Chief Justice is. So if you are removing a co-equal arm of government, it shouldn't be based on such a flimsy issue and excuses.
Very well.
She's gone and it's finished, but it's unfortunate.
Dr. Zatu, thank you. I'll take a few messages, go on a break, I come back and then I give you an opportunity to my two other guests. This is Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm saying, good morning, my brother. Truth be told, findings to the president upon completion of their work. Elvis, let me come to you on the matter of the CJ and the committee sittings. I have a little bit of a problem with the timing that she's been suspended for close to 3 weeks and the committee is now going to begin its sittings. If the committee wasn't ready to begin sittings, why is suspended for 3 weeks before the committee begins its work?
That is your concern, but that is how discretion is used. These are the issues about discretion.
And that is where people form the opinion about an abuse.
That's what I'm saying, that when you allow too much discretion, if you are not careful, your good intention will turn out to be your downfall. Do you understand it? Because for you think you are doing the right thing. But in the minds of other people, they think it should have been done otherwise. But because it is not codified in law, it is not spelled out how that discretion should be exercised. How you exercise it is your decision. And we may have, or the public may have, issues with how you exercise it. But the question is, if that discretion was given to me, I may also have exercised in a different way that others also have problem with me. And that is why me, as a person, I don't like room for discretion. Let it be written in black and white. So that if I faulted, I know that I faulted. But when you give me a discretion, then based on various factors that determine how I do things, I'll exercise it the way I want. So I see, faulting the president for exercising his discretion, I don't know how you want to do, because how you exercise your discretion is your decision. Do you understand it? So yes, there may be issue of why was she suspended. It is the fault of the Constitution. And that's why I have said it here, and I'll say it again, that the removal process that stipulated in the Constitution is unfair. And I agree with the former CJ Sofia Akufu. I agree with the Ghana Bar Association. I agree with anybody that points out that flaw, that the process that has been outlined for the removal of a superior court judge and a CJ is, to me, flawed because it is unfair. Okay? But the fact is that as long as we have not cured that unfairness that is in the Constitution, whoever is clothed with the power to exercise that discretion or exercise the way he or she thinks is good. And we can only complain because we cannot also accuse the person of breaching any law. As I said, we cannot accuse the person of breaching any law because per the Constitution, the person has not breached any law. But it's because of the void that exists and the power of discretion that has been given to that person. The person decides to exercise in the way he or she wants. So for me, I think that these are all issues we are raising. And I said it here before, that probably what is happening to the CJ is also in a way a blessing because we are on the process of doing a constitutional review. We are all now pointing out the loopholes in what we think is happening. It's an opportunity for us to capture these things to the constitutional review and make sure that we actually close those gaps. So future, the president can come and do a similar thing that is happening now because they would have closed all the loopholes that we have identified as a people that know this process is unfair. But the president has no choice because the president can also not disobey the Constitution. So he's also doing what he's doing because that's what the Constitution is. And it's the power for him is for him to ask the doctor has said that the Constitution doesn't say it should take you 7 days or 1 month to forward the Constitution to the petition to the Council of State. So a president can come and say, as for me, this petition, I will say 1 month a year, I will not forward it. Nobody can say why is he not forwarding it because the Constitution did not give it a timeline. It said forward it, but what is the timeline? So I will decide, my people are looking at it. We are looking for legal opinion to see whether we should forward it or not. Even if it is 1 year, the president can sit on it without. What will you say? You can only accuse him of unfairness. You can only allege that he's abusing the process. But the point is, there is no specific period that he's supposed to forward it. You understand it? Even the Council of State, I've not seen the number of days that is given to them or duration given to them to determine whether there's a prima facie case or not. You understand? So clearly we can see that we have a process in our Constitution that has so many loopholes. We sat down, and for me the painful aspect is that Justice Jones Doche, leading the Supreme Court in a judgment in 2020, actually identified all these loopholes and made a recommendation that the government of the day, the executive, should take steps to cure it because they realized that there's a whole unfairness in the process. For 4 years, we sat down and did nothing about it. And today we are all talking about it. And we are back to the same thing. That's why in a country where it's like we talk a lot and do little, these are the things. We will just be revisiting the same issues back and forth, back and forth. You see, the GBA asked that there's a precedent that the former President Akufo-Addo actually published or made public their decision of a prima facie case, whether they determine how they determine it. And they issued a statement asking that President Mahama should release that report. What is the basis of determining that prima facie case? Initially, the NDC made us believe, or the government and spokesman, the president is very, very fair, generous. He gave the CJ the petition. But that request for the publication of the prima facie determination, up to now, the president has not released this. So, on one hand, we should praise the president that he gave the CJ the petitions. But on the other hand, the president not releasing that prima facie case, we are not concerned. But at the same time, too, you cannot force the president. The issue of discretion. The decision to give the CJ was a discretion. So now the decision to either publish as demanded by GBA or not is also a discretion. So you see, we are trying to blame blame the president but the issue is not the individual, it's the process that we are saying. There's so many loopholes.
Right.
You understand? So if we sit here and want to be talking about how somebody exercises a discretion, we may not close today because we will all have why we think this is the way he should have done it or the other way he should have done it. You will have a different opinion. I may have a different opinion. He may have a different. He may have it because it's a matter of discretion how you exercise it. So for me, I say whatever the outcome is from this thing that we are experiencing, the most important thing is the lessons that we will learn about the various loopholes that various individuals and groups have pointed out about the process and how quickly we will cure that process to make sure that we don't go through this again in the near future. For me, that's the most important thing.
Doc, the argument of the MPP and the minority is that this is purely political and not legal, as you want to put it. They argue that you are taking advantage of the loopholes as established by Elvis just now you're weaponizing the legal processes for a political gain.
You see, my brother, Ghana, we have a long way to go. In 1992, we voted for this constitution. Yes, in fact, I'm happy to say that I was part of it. Who voted yes? Some group of people went around the country and said we should vote no against them. I remember very well what Professor Dubois and co, Nana Akufo-Addo, their group, were all over the place. Vote no against the constitution. We queued and voted yes for the constitution. The constitution guides our life in this country. The constitution describes the governance structure of this country and how we should be governed in this country. We are not lawless people in this country. I'm surprised certain aspect of our institution in Ghana wants this government to act lawless. We are not going to be lawless. In any case, let me correct this perception. John Dramani Mahama is not the first person to initiate the process of the removal of the Chief Justice. He's not. In fact, Nana-Addo, under the 1992 Constitution, is the first president to ever initiated a process of removing the Chief Justice. Just last year, December, Professor Kweku Azar wrote a petition to Nana Akufo-Addo asking him to remove the learned Chief Justice. What did Nana-Addo do? Under Article 146, it's here. Under Article 146, Nana-Addo passed the petition to the Council of State to come out with their what? Prima facie.
Prima facie, yeah.
They came out to rate and sent their report. They didn't find anything wrong with what they accused the learned Chief Justice. They didn't find anything wrong. They said no. They didn't find a prima facie case against the lady, so she has no questions to answer. And therefore, they were recommending to Nana Akufo-Addo to dismiss the petition. He went ahead. Because they didn't find prima facie, the exercise of discretionary power did not come. That is because a committee was not set. If there's no prima facie, you cannot form. Under Article 146, where 6 is talking about the formation of the five-man committee. It is when the prima facie is found.
It's established.
Now here, the same president, I'm talking of the presidency, another petition came. This time it's NDC. It's NDC government. And the president is called John Dramani Mahama. And somebody sent petitions to him on the same subject matter. This time it's not on the same issue that was being dismissed. It's a different matter. Those who send it are living testimonies to her action against them. That's why they wrote the petitions and sent it to the president. Acting on the same article that Nana-Addo acted and dismissed the petition. Now, hell must break loose because it's John Dramani Mahama and NDC. When it was MPP, Nana-Addo, constitutional. He's doing his writing. Oh yeah, everybody should go and sleep. But we have a new president and his name is different and it's not pronounced Akufo-Addo, it's pronounced John Dramani Mahama. He's acting lawlessness. Can you imagine the direction of which it's coming? When I say these people are trying to undermine his authority, MPP and their like, undermine his authority, and that is where we are having problem with them. this your former president acted the same way. Is it because, okay, if they had found prima facie case against the lady Chief Justice at that time, in December, was Donado going to say, because they have not found, I'm not going to set a committee? He would have set the committee.
Yes,
it's constitutional. He's bound by the Constitution to do that. And he would have exercised his discretionary powers under clause 10 of the article. Now, in exercising discretion, that's why we must look, this Constitution, we have problems with it, yes, but it's very clear in certain actions. Look at how discretionary powers is exercised under Article 296.
296.
Check the B, where they are trying to talk about it. They are saying that the exercise of the discretionary power shall not be arbitrary, capricious, or biased either by resentment, prejudice, or personal dislike, and shall be in accordance with the process of law. Come and see how the discretionary power under clause 10 of the article says.
146.
146. Where a petition has been referred to a committee under this article, the president may discretionary. That's the discretionary power. Listen to how they carve it. The framers of the Constitution. In the case of the Chief Justice, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State, is it capricious? Is this one capricious? Is it arbitrary? Is it a sentiment? Acting in accordance with the what? The advice of the Council of State. Suspend